Hey everyone, it's me, Alli. Time for Act 3 and finish Honor Mode. Let's do this! So, the first thing we have to do is defeat the Kitianki Honor Guard of Orpheus. This is usually a very easy battle, but this is the first of many things that are not gonna happen as I planned. The two remarkable parts are that I changed my class and accidentally lost my ability to use heavy armor, so I had to improvise and use a random medium armor I fortunately had in my inventory. And I accepted the Astral Tadpole. Now that I'm finally on Act 3, what should I do? Besides the main story, there are many quests that I could do before the final fight. I was thinking and I got an idea. What if I try to give a happy ending to all my companions? Except you, Gale. Sorry. You'll later see why we can't give you a happy ending. And it's not only because of what you think it is. First things first. I convinced all my companions to use the Astral Tadpole and became partial elitists. Make sure to have all inspiration points ready and guidance. At this point, it doesn't matter if we'll all look ugly as fuck. We need all the advantages we can get. And this one is very good. Having the ability to fly is really helpful, plus some extra abilities. Then, I wanted to unlock all the map of the first part of Act 3, so I decided to talk to the guards in front of the gates. I knew that after doing some quests, the Iron Gnomes would come and help me so I can skip the battle. They did help me, but we didn't skip the battle. I don't know if it was a bug, or a different dialogue, or honor mode changed to the enemies. Either way, we had to kill all these guards and the Steel Watcher. I told you that a lot of stuff won't happen as I planned. And be ready because more are coming, like this one with Orin. What I did know that Orin can shapeshift in many characters, but I didn't know that she will be this random reporter. And I really wanted to keep her hidden, so to be able to use a cheesy tactic, but I guess no cheese for me. Well, the first thing we have to do is to get all the items, armor, and weapons available with the merchants and stores. Remember, we're not stealing, just borrowing. Borrowing these items are necessary to save your life. Then I did part of a quest, investigate the suspicious toys. Remember, this quest is more helpful than you think. It's gonna give us the admission pass so we can go to Gortash Castle without needing our charisma, and later this quest will give us the necessary explosives to beat the game. I kept walking all over the map to get more experience, kill some easy enemies, and start more quests related to my companions. One of our main objectives is to be level 12 as soon as possible. After all this, we go to the circus. We have to persuade the guy, but that's no problem. Now, the first thing we need is to commission the statue from Boney. This is a permanent buff, and I can get it for 5,000 coins, which is nothing after all the stuff I stole. I mean, borrow from previous acts.
Not stealing, borrowing.
We of course talk to Akabi, the cheating genie. So I go to the jungle and get my first legendary weapon. Although, I try to beat all the cult Alioramus, or the dinos for short, which got more scarier than expected. I had all my summons, but one was bugged at camp and the other got destroyed immediately. And when I realized that all of them had pounds, I decided to retreat. Get the legendary weapon, then take it slow and kill all of them one by one. Slowly but surely. Time for Dribbles, the doppelganger clown. I managed to dodge the attack of the dog, and the battle was smooth and without problems, because I already made one of the cage of the animals impossible to open. As the fight ended, I also stole the Spellmite gloves from Lucretius. I won't be doing that stupid annoying quest of finding Dribbles the clown. Time for a long rest, and we get a visit from Queen Blackit for one last try to make Lae'zel go to her side. Of course we say no, because our main goal is to save Orpheus and make a rebellion against her. For the next day, we continue doing more quests and killing some enemies, like saving Counselor Floric from being executed. Killing a ton of doppelgangers, we surprise attack some of them, we help the Spirit Amulet with his quest, we help these people to kill some enemies, and then we also kill them because we want the cargo for us. Some of the battles were a bit unnecessary, but we got the XP to be level 11. Another long rest, and I finally got my main plan on what to do for Act 3. So listen up, people. We have to kill Gortash and Orin. Gortash is easier, but we need to talk to him so he goes to the room on the top. But before he goes, we have to infiltrate it and sabotage it, the shield generators. Then, Will's father is going to be in prison, so we have to rescue him, and not take too many long rests or he will die. We also have to disable the Steel Watcher factory and save the Gondian slaves. So we also need to save the families of the Gondians from the Iron Throne. But the moment we go to the Iron Throne, Gortash is going to turn against us and also the whole castle. So before doing anything related to the Steel Watchers and Gondians, we have to enter the castle of Gortash and get all the important items that are in the castle. That includes Answer, the dragon in the basement. For now, let's go to the city and not to the second floor. We have to buy all items in the stores and certain basements. But we have to be careful because we don't want to trigger Orin's kidnapping. Or we'll possibly lose one of 3 companions, Gale, Lae'zel, or Halsey. I cannot risk losing any of them. I need Gale for the end and his powerful spells. Lae'zel is my couple and is also one of my strongest companions. And Halsey is a companion I want to use for the Iron Throne. Also, I want to use Contagion on Orin. This is all part of a plan to make her fight a lot easier. So the sewers are restricted because I want Orin to kidnap Yenna. But I shouldn't worry about it, right? Since it will only trigger if I go down the sewers, right? Once she is kidnapped, I can finally explore the sewers with freedom. But I won't worry right now. The plan is continue doing easy quests to get more experience and get to level 12. Once I'm level 12, I can finally trigger Orin and Gortash quests. We keep stealing some goods, we fight an angry Deva for stealing the goods, and our next stop is the Arcane Tower, a place with a lot of great items for any magic users. So go talk to Alli so she help us face Lord Rakan. He can be a bit tricky with all his elementals and his reaction elemental retort. But having the Night Song, Roland, and many summons at my side make this an 11 versus 7. Having so many allies, it's going to become a recurring theme in Act 3. Either way, we focus on all the elementals, and once he's alone, he's a very easy target. After this, we explore the Arcane's Tower basement to grab more powerful items and fight Yafu, a strong genie trapped in a lamp. We continue to the bank, where there are also a ton of items and gold we can borrow to save Baldur's Gate. We only need a character with really good dexterity and sleight of hand to open all the vaults so we get rich. Astarion, do your thing. We go deeper into the bank, find Minx and the fake Jaheira. We have to face all the enemies in the bank. This battle can be rough because many enemies can turn invisible and have unstoppable charge, but at least they weren't a big deal for me, especially because we still have many allies. Either way, the main reason to come is to open all the high security vaults, because they have good items, and the chief of the bank doesn't care anymore.
What do you think you're... Cool. What bloody difference does it make?
Time for a long rest, and Halsey is feeling weird? He was about to strike Scratch, and if he did something to my doggy, I'll immediately destroy him without mercy. He was having problems with the corruption of the city? What's going on? Oh, it's Orin. Oh shit. Well, the bad news is Halsing got kidnapped. The good news is it was Halsing and not my other more important companions. Orin already ruined some of my plans. I had to cheese her battle. At least we still have plan B. Let's continue to the next day and try to speedrun ourselves to get level 12. One easy fight is rescuing Bolo. The only important mention is that we also collected all the smoke powder barrels. Always have as many as you can. We then kill some sahuagi or fish monsters to be more understandable. And we move to one of the most important buildings for an honor mode run, the Feligore Fireworks. The ending for the quest, investigate the suspicious toys. Why is it so important? Because they have a ton of explosives in the basement and on the 3rd floor. Be very careful with the traps. And since we kill everyone in the building, we finally achieved level 12. Finally, I can continue the whole plan of Orin and Gortash. First of all, kill Ansur. He can be very scary because of the amount of HP he has, the elementals at his side, and his legendary actions and resistances. We can always use Barrelmancy, but I was 90% sure I was capable of winning without cheese. As you could see, in only one single turn, we got him to half health. He obviously started charging his Storm-Heard Nova, but we got behind many crystals and we were fine. Time to end this dragon. This gave me the Baldurian Giant Slayer, one of the best legendary weapons in the game, and my main weapon for the rest of Act 3. I went back to check if I was missing any explosives on the flare-going fireworks. And suddenly I got ambushed by a lot of flaming fists. At least 20 of them. Why? I guess they saw me teleport from the criminal scene? Well, I only had two options. One, sacrifice some of my summons and companions, but we all have a good chance of escaping. Or, stay on my ground and fight all of them, even when I'm at a disadvantage and this could escalate in a war situation. The best option was obvious, so I ignored it and fucked all of them as a man. Or more like a half-orc. It was a very difficult and rough fight. I just got out of the fight of Ansur and changed Lae'zel for Jaheira. Even when she had many decent spells, I didn't have spells to heal. I made her to be more of a disruptor than a healer. Meanwhile, the Flaming Fist had many healers. I did have a good amount of AoE spells, but my spells were very limited. At the end, I was able to clutch this up by losing my summons and using many potions. Let's take a long rest and then continue my plan to kill Gortash. We attend Gortash coronation, so he and Will's father can finally move from this floor. Then it's time to sabotage the 3rd floor, where we'll be facing Gortash. It can be a bit tricky to get up without being noticed, but because we are partial elites, we can fly and get to the top without problems. Hey, Alli editor here. It looks like you can leave these force generators specifically, because some of them are malfunctioning and can debuff Gortash in the middle of the battle. I wanted to get all the items that the Emperor had in his hideout, so it was time to face the Kitianki that were watching the entrance. We used Shovel to surprise them. They might be strong, have legendary resistance, and have unstoppable charges, but this little thing is still handy in Act 3 against strong and dangerous enemies. From here, I also wanted to continue the quest, investigate the murders, so I surprised Dolor and killed him in the first turn, and even finished the quest a lot earlier than I should. I didn't know you could do this, but I'll take it. Time to finally start the quest, disable the Steel Watch factory, and save the Gondians. So I went directly into the factory and started kicking ass. The Steel Watchers in Tactician and Honor mode are now more resistant to magic, so that can be a small problem for later. I long rest, and it's the moment to free Will from his Warlock pact. Misora doesn't want to sever the pact, but we already know where Will's father is, and I want to give all my companions a happy ending. So Will is free. Now we only need to save his father. I went to sleep and had a jump scare from the Emperor. No thanks. I'm not sleeping with the Emperor. Again.
Can I come?
You can ride with me anytime. No homo.
Yes, I was just about to say, no homo.
And I don't want to talk about it, okay? But what I do want to talk about is Lae'zel waking me up. Again. Okay. I didn't know about this scene either. Lae'zel was actually being really open with me. She was truly in love with me. Video games really appeal to the male fantasy.
I couldn't wait to escape this place. Now, I revel in it. I revel in you. You showed me the betweens and beyonds. Between war and peace. Beyond passion and obsession. Whatever comes next, I want you near. When all this is over, will you stay with me? For good? Chaque Von Findu, source of my joy.
Now it is time. Time to go to the Iron Throne and save everyone in there. The Gondians, the Duke, and Omelu. Since I already know what to expect down there, it wasn't difficult. Especially because we are 12 characters going into this mission. Also, being able to fly makes us very mobile and fast enough to kill the fish monsters without troubles. I already made a video about this, so I did almost the same things from the last time. But now the big difference is that I also had to save the Duke. First, we deal with the fish monsters, and then we get them out. Many fire spiders usually try to kamikaze at the Duke, so I use Dimension Door to get him out immediately to safety. Not much else to say, but we almost save everyone. The fish monsters kill one unlucky Gundian, but I'll still take it as a win. Mission complete. With all that down, we are going to destroy the Steel Watch factory. The first and second encounters weren't difficult, unless you really want to save the Gondians as best as you can. I did my best, but also didn't overcomplicate myself. The big boss at the end is the one that is very hard. The Hellfire Steel Watcher Titan. That's a very upgraded Steel Watcher, especially in the defense because we're in honor mode. That's why I used a bit of Peril Nancy. I took a fourth of his health. Not a lot, but enough for now. I kept striking with more attacks like Chain Lightning from Gale, then I used Giant Form and toppled the Big Fall, plus my critical strike and a level 3 Divine Smite. All of this combined made the Titan remain with only 1/4 of his HP. Finally, Lae'zel came up to strike the Titan 7 times, and with all that, the Titan was dead in the first round. We didn't even let him take his turn. The rest of the Steel Watchers were easy to deal with. We already destroyed other Steel Watchers, and these weren't that different from the others in the streets. Yup, only one left thing to do. And we did it without using the Rune Powder Bomb. This one we're going to use it later. I had plans for it. Without further ado, it's time to kill Gortash. We had to be careful because the whole castle is now hostile. But we can fly again to get to the room where Gortash is hiding. Unfortunately, I didn't record the whole battle, but in summary, we waited outside of the room where he is, so he doesn't get all the shields and buffs from the artifacts that are still functioning. Once he turns into the second phase, someone has to take the tyrannical curse. This curse is going to strike you really hard after 2 turns, so I tried to kill him as fast as I could. Fortunately, I still had some divine smites. Astarion as an assassin and many other strong summons made him an easy fight that didn't even hit us. Oh, and I was able to remove the curse just in time, or this could have happened to me. The curse remains even when Gortash is dead. And Karlach was kinda satisfied. That's one quest of a companion done.
Thanks for listening. For existing. Love you.
We long rest, and suddenly I got interrupted again. What's going on now? Oh, the brothers and sisters of Astarion. We beat them quite easily, but now I know who is the next one we're going to go and kill. Getting to the castle of Cazador is easy, and dealing with many of his monsters isn't a huge deal either. But fighting Cazador can be very dangerous. He can easily shove any of us out of the arena and insta-kill us, but I also know that he is weak to sunlight, so casting daylight is very helpful against him. I used all of my divine smites, Lae'zel hit him 7 times, and Gale finished him with a chain lightning. Once he was defeated, we only had to clean house. Defeating the remaining monsters was very easy. Now it was the moment to make a choice. Astarion finishes the ritual and becomes an ascended vampire, or releases the other vampire spawn to be free? We choose to let them free. Honestly, Astarion doesn't need that power, but you can still enjoy killing Cazador on your own. Astarion is satisfied. Another companion happy. The next ones on the list were Jaheira and Minsk. We went to the sewers to rescue Minsk from the fake Jaheira. Nothing important here. Just know that we managed to save him and his miniature giant space hamster Boo. So now we have 2 more happy companions. Hey, fun fact, did you know that the Duke of Ravengard is a fan of goblins? Here, check this clip without context.
Your actions have drawn the ire of someone nearby. A fight.
Damn it! What have you done?
What the actual fuck just happened? What I was doing is preparing Will to go to our next battle. I took out 1 goblin corpse from my chest camp because I accumulate some corpses only if I need them for the future to create undead summons. I used the corpse of a goblin, and for some reason, this is a crime. And of all people, the father of Will is the one that saw it. So now he is hostile. But because he is outnumbered, he runs from the camp, and because Will isn't happy about it, he also leaves the party permanently. Wow. So, only this time, I'm going to close my game from the task manager and repeat 1 hour of gameplay. Whis, can you do the honors? Look, I'm only doing this 1 singular time for 2 reasons. 1, this was bullshit, and I didn't know this could happen, so it's not my fault how these weird interactions work. And 2, Will is one of my strongest companions, and I really needed him for many battles to come. He also left with all the items and equipment he had, so I wouldn't be able to replicate another warlock like him with another companion. That being said, let's finish Shard's quest. So, to the House of Grief. We know that Shard is gonna be punished, so we're not gonna even give them the chance to talk and immediately start the fight. I know this fight can be very hard because they use the shadows to teleport at us and immediately strike us. Unless there's too much light. So, time to use the spell Daylight. Again, the battle was relatively easy, since we didn't let them get close to us with Hunger of Hadar, Wall of Fire, and Eldritch Blast. In the end, they didn't even hit us with the exception of one of my summons. Shard finally found her parents, and unfortunately she had to kinda sacrifice them to let them be free from the goddess Shar. A fine ending for another of my companions, although she was very sad. So a nice hug was needed to make it a happy ending. Okay. The next day, I wanted to see if I could recruit some allies at the guild hall. But a big battle erupted. I knew that some of these enemies were going to attack us. They were no problem. But what I didn't know is that the allies I wanted to recruit also turned it against me. And I didn't have my strongest companions, so it was quite awkward. But at least they have a decent strong build, so even when I was in a bit of a disadvantage and Jahiro was having a bad time, we managed to clutch this up. Again, are there going to be more awkward or unexpected battles? After all that mess, it was time to finally address Orin. So I went to face Sarabok, an enemy that can be very difficult, and I don't have good strategies against him. So Battlemancy did the job really well. I was nervous because he wasn't moving, but I guess it happened because he didn't have a clear path to where he was supposed to go. Either way, he was killed easily by Astarion and me. Her three other allies weren't difficult to handle once Sarabok was dead. With all that down, we went to the Undercity ruins to face Orin. There are many difficult encounters and obstacles in the way, but with the power of one invisible potion and fly, Astarion easily skipped everything, and once he reaches the waypoint, we can all catch up to Astarion. Now, Orin is a very difficult encounter. She has many charges of Unstoppable that can get refreshed every turn if we don't kill the enemies that are making a ritual. And in Honor mode, we can instantly die if we don't kill somebody while the ritual is active. How am I going to handle this impossible Battlemancy? Yeah, Battlemancy. But this time, Halsing is over there. So we have to be very careful with the amount and positioning of the explosives. Oh, and remember that we can send summons to place the barrels, because they won't trigger the dialogue to start the encounter. Once the battle started, we immediately focus on Orin to remove her unstoppable charges. That's why Magic Missile exists. I got a bit nervous because Orin was able to transform into her Slayer form, so it's smiting time. I made her prone thanks to the ability of my sword, so the battle was super easy, barely an inconvenience. I got the last Netherstone and rescue Halsing. Time to finish the game, right? Right? Not quite yet. I want to rescue Orpheus because my dear Lae'zel wants him to be free, so we can all rebel against Blackie. But to be able to do that, we need the Orphic Hammer, which is inside the House of Hope. In other words, I will have to beat the hardest boss in the game, Raphael. I mean, he could just give me the hammer if I make a deal with him. It's just that easy. Even Lae'zel wants me to accept the deal, but we don't negotiate with devils. We are doing it the hard way, and actually going to the House of Hope. Lae'zel gets a bit mad. but also admires me for it.
I'm annoyed by it. And I admire you for it. We must speak with Voss. Then we find our way to Raphael's House of Hope.
Either way, it's time to go to arguably the most dangerous place in Act 3 and even in the whole game. Getting in isn't difficult, but getting out with all the loot, that's the challenge. First, we have to face the devil that looks really similar to Raphael. In all my previous encounters, he has been easy, but this time he used the perfect spell counter against me. Confusion.
Oh, shit!
Suddenly many of my allies were against me. I was getting flashbacks when Lae'zel killed Mintara. This could end my run if they don't return to normal, and the devil is still concentrating on the spell. Fortunately, Astarion, Gale and I managed to clutch this one. Either way, we stole the hammer and we went straight to rescue Hope. Many enemies here are very dangerous, but if we take them by surprise, one by one, and from another angle, it can be very easy. Now that Hope is free and will help us heal, it is time to face Raphael, the most dangerous enemy in the game. But I was smart enough to carry a ton of explosives and rune power bombs, and I placed them before the battle began. And it was a big mistake.
I am too smart! I am too smart! I am too smart!
This happened on the first turn. My original plan was to put a glove on invulnerability to my whole party and then explode the bombs. But Jurgir wasn't part of my plan and he had a lot of initiative, so he was going first and detonated the trap prematurely, so we all got caught in the explosion. Bad news is, we're at only 1/3 of all our health. But the good news is, the trap worked, and it got rid of many enemies and all the towers that heal Raphael. I immediately grouped up and tried to heal all my teammates. Once we were all recovered, we continued the battle. The rest of my allies had the task to kill the remaining enemies. Meanwhile, I'll be facing Raphael himself. He tried to beguile me, but failed it every time, so I kept hitting him hard. Then it was finally his turn, so he ascended and threw Ravaging Inferno. But it was against the teammates that were in the Glove of Invulnerability. He was finally on his own, and we all continued attacking Raphael with all we had. At this point, we were 8 versus 1, so it was only a matter of time. The difficult part was keeping Hope alive, but I got lucky and everything turned out well. To be fair, I was 90% sure I was able to win this, but I had my doubts when everything exploded much earlier than it should. And the reward from Hope is going to be very helpful for Lae'zel.
It's absolutely preposterous that any of us are alive.
It was finally time to end this. We either win or lose everything in the process. We became invisible to skip some battles and went straight for the Nether Brain. We failed to get our 99 DC check, and we were saved by the Emperor. The Emperor wants to kill and use the power of Orpheus, but that's not part of our plan. We have the Orphic Hammer, so we say goodbye to the Emperor and free Orpheus. The main plan is to just go up and let Gale sacrifice himself.
And it would take one wizard to unleash a cataclysm powerful enough to tear apart the brain's very being. You have no choice but to consider using the orb.
So let's go. I looked at all the allies I had, which were a lot more than I anticipated. Well, they won't be needed. I used Astarion to sneak around. We only needed one of my companions to reach the Nether Brain. I tried to use invisibility, but there are many enemies that can't get rid of it. I was panicking, But fortunately, Astarion had enough movement to fly to a safe spot. He then drank another invisible potion, and he was able to reach a checkpoint. In this part, he continues moving forward without problems, because these enemies cannot reveal invisibility. When we reach this, Gil teleports us out.
You brought me right where I need to be. I have no right to ask more of you. It's time I spirited you to safety. But this is a fate I must face alone.
And made the honorable thing to sacrifice himself. Time to celebrate! Except Gil, because he is, well, dead. Soon I realized that there was a magic projection of Gil.
It's very,
Oh.
very important.
Oh no.
Well met. I am a magical projection of Gale of Waterdeep. And if you see this manifestation, that means I have prematurely perished, as I am here precisely to assist in cushioning that heaviest of blows. I have been entrusted with the delivery of a letter to be given to one who cared most for me in life. I hope these words do something to ease the tragedy of my untimely and honestly, quite unexpected passing. With that, I'm afraid my spell is waning. Is there anything else you need of me before I blink out of existence? How fortunate I was to know someone like you.
Oh man. He left me a letter? Oh my god. Fine, fine, okay. I guess we're not going to sacrifice you. I mean, the original plan was that nobody was going to turn into a Lilith, and we're going to use the orb to destroy the brain. But the game forces that somebody has to completely transform. Fine, Orpheus will transform. And we're all climbing the brainstem for the big final battle. No more sacrifices. This is truly the end. And of course, the Emperor comes to show us that he can make 4 allies that are our weaknesses. But that won't matter much, because we have the power of friendship. A bit cheesy, but it is true. I literally called everyone I could to help us in the battle. At one point we had 13 allies at my command, and many others were roaming around taking care of the tentacles, the Dream Guardians, and the Red Dragon. The brain was clearly outnumbered. After killing so many enemies in only 2 turns, Orpheus started to channel Karsus' compulsion to finally face the Nether Brain directly. We got inside and it was time to attack with all we got, but I got nervous with the waves it caused to disturb everyone, so I panicked and recurred to plan B. B of Battlemancy. Lae'zel placed all the explosives, and with one final fire arrow, the brain was defeated. I could become a big overlord to rule them all, but nah, that's too much work. Let's only be heroes and destroy the Nether Brain for good. Orpheus started to talk, and wanted me to kill him. But as I said, no more sacrifices. So I spared him and convinced him to leave. Lae'zel then called for Orpheus' dragons, Kudos and Kulos.
Kulos! Kudos!
So, my dear Lae'zel and I ride the dragons to the horizon. Thanks for following me through this journey of Baldur's Gate 3 in Honor Mode. I even got 2 more achievements, the Tactician difficulty achievement and Leave No One Behind, which I was 95% sure I wouldn't get. Will I do more videos of Baldur's Gate 3? Maybe. We'll see what happens. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.
You can be my wingman anytime.
No, you say. You can be mine.
No homo, right?
All of the homo!